I was like, nah, man, I want to change. I want to go to a city where I can completely lock myself up, focus on business. I had all this freedom, I had the money to do so, but I was like, what am I actually doing here? Am I reaching my potential? So I decided eventually to leave Mexico. And yes, that was a difficult decision for me, because what I said, I still love that girl, but I just needed to do it. I needed to put myself in the first place. I wanted to do something different. Yes, guys, in this video, I would like to talk about self-awareness and how important it is to make quick decisions in life. So I'm going to give you a real life example of me when I was living in Mexico in a very nice apartment with a girlfriend, completely in my comfort zone. Okay. So first, when I started with ecom, I was actually able to leave my home country very, very quick. And my business partner and I decided to first go to Dubai, and after Dubai, we decided to go to Mexico. Mexico was a very great experience, especially back then. Why? Because COVID was a thing, COVID was ongoing, and Mexico was actually one of the only countries open back then. So we just decided to go to Mexico because we always put our freedom on the priority list. Freedom is number one for us, and that's also considered freedom, right? When there's a complete lockdown in the world, you can just fly to wherever you want because it's open. So that's what we did back then. Lived in Mexico for a long time. Business was doing great. We were doing very decent numbers with our e-commerce web shops. We had a customer support agency back then, which we don't have at the moment anymore. Anyway, long story short, business was going pretty well. Making good numbers, making decent amounts of money every single month. So that also means that from the moment you start to earn a lot of money and you are living in a country which is actually not that expensive, you can already enter your comfort zone. But it didn't really happen with us from the right beginning. But eventually we moved, but we went to Miami for a month. Why did we go to Miami? That was for an event from Patrick Bet-Davids. And Patrick Bet-Davids is a high-level top entrepreneur, and we were attending one of his events. And that was just very great about business, leadership, entrepreneurship. It's Valuetainment. I'm sure you guys have heard about Valuetainment if you're watching this. If not, check it out. It's great. Anyway, after Miami, we decided to go back to Mexico, but I myself decided to go to Guadalajara, which is a city in Mexico. Why I wanted to do a city is because I lived on an island, not really an island, but at the coast, at the beach for a long time. I was like, nah, man, I want to change. I want to go to a city where I can completely lock myself up, focus on business, grow business. And that month where we were in Miami, we did a very, very good month with our e-commerce web shops. They had over 6-figure in profits in 1 month, I think. Went to Patrick Bet-Davids again, then flew to Mexico with the mindset okay, apartment, decent setup, focus again, scaling to higher numbers. That's what I wanted to do because I was so energized by all these top-level entrepreneurs from Patrick Bet-Davids from the Valuetainment event, right? So that's what I did. I moved to Guadalajara, but I was there basically alone. So my business partner didn't join me. I was there kind of alone. So then what did I do? Hanging around, chatting with girls, dating with girls, and then I ended up staying together with one girl, which is my ex-girlfriend, and things were going pretty well, I would say. But from the moment I started to get in a relationship, after a few months, I just felt like I lost a bit of vision, I lost a bit of traction. I got in my comfort zone. And once again, why? I had a very nice girlfriend, good looking, very nice everything. I had a very decent apartment. I was making decent money. I didn't have to worry about anything. So you enter your comfort zone. And I was like, okay, how am I going to be able to get out of my comfort zone again? So I started to get training Muay Thai again, blah, blah, blah. But there was a moment that I needed to do a surgery on my leg. There was something wrong. There were some specific veins in my left leg. I needed to remove those, and I decided to do that in Mexico. I didn't want to do that in the Netherlands, first of all. Why would I go back to the Netherlands? I don't want that. Second of all, I just okay, I'm here in Mexico. I can do it. I have an insurance, all those things. They have good hospitals here, so I decided to do it there. From the moment I did that, I wouldn't really say I got depressed, but that made me thinking about a lot of things, which eventually made me kind of sad about many stuff, because I wasn't able to do sports for 2 months. I was laying in bed for literally 2 weeks. I couldn't do anything. The only thing what I could do was watching stuff and do some work. So at least I could do some work, even though the doctor didn't told me I shouldn't do it. I still decided to work. But anyway, there was also a moment that I was thinking a lot, and I was thinking okay, I'm now here in Mexico already for a very long time. I have a nice girlfriend. I already flew in between from Mexico to Thailand to catch up with family, flew back to Mexico. So once again relates to a lot of freedom. So I had all this freedom, I had the money to do so, but I was like, what am I actually doing here? Am I reaching my potential? No, not at all. What is going to be for me the next step to get out of my comfort zone again and put myself in like in a space or like somewhere where I'm really testing myself in life again. And I was like, okay, I love Muay Thai. You know what? Why not flying back to Thailand, getting into a Muay Thai camp, fighting Muay Thai, and then I'm pretty sure that I will be like back on top in terms of mindset and stuff, in terms of discipline. That was the idea I had. But of course, I was still in Mexico with my girlfriend, everything. So I wasn't really sure like how should I do it? Do I actually want to do it? Because I still love her, you know. Back then, like I loved her still. Things were actually going well. So like average people would say, why are you considering to leave if everything is going fine? Well, for me, once again, the reason was I was too much in my comfort zone. I'm still young, but then I was 22. It's like, no, man, I have to do something different. So I decided eventually to leave Mexico. And yes, that was a difficult decision for me because what I said, I still loved that girl. But I just needed to do it. I needed to put myself in the first place. I wanted to do something different. So I made that decision, and from the moment I made that decision, of course, in communication together with my ex-girlfriend back then, she was kind of down with it. Of course, she was very sad, but we decided that, okay, this is going to be better. She said, if this is better for you, then do it, right? Even though she wouldn't agree with it, I would still have gone, like, honestly. But anyway, she agreed with it, so that gave me already a more peace of mind, and I left. So from the moment I made the decision, 24 hours later, I took my flight already. I flew to Thailand. So I arrived in Thailand, but I still had that kind of surgery thing, right? And the doctor told me, you can't do any sports. But I was like, I'm not really going to listen to that because if my body tells me I can do it, if it's not hurting, I'm going to sport. So I'm going to train. Arrived in Thailand, into my brother's apartment. Then the next day, showed up in the Muay Thai gym. I was training, but I had kind of pain in my back or in my stomach. I didn't really know where it was coming from, so I decided to go to the hospital. They couldn't find anything. Went back to home, but it was getting worse and worse and worse. So my plan of like going to Thailand, get into a Muay Thai camp was already basically done because I needed to visit the hospital. Eventually ended up staying in the hospital for a few days. Ended up with a kind of parasite somewhere in my stomach. Why? Because of all the medicines I needed to take for the surgery before in Mexico, they didn't give me any stomach protection. So I needed to take a lot of medicines, parasite in my body. So all the plans I had in mind, it went down. I was like, okay, what am I going to do? It's like, okay, the only thing what I can do is just recover as soon as possible and then still get back into that camp and get back in the Muay Thai. Because once again, my mindset needed to be on top. And I needed to make these decisions all the time to make sure that my mindset is going to be on top again, right? So going from leaving my ex-girlfriend out of Mexico in a complete new zone in Thailand, entering a Muay Thai camp, in the hospital again. Then finally I was able to train Muay Thai and like I locked in myself for literally 2.5 months training Muay Thai morning, afternoon. I still train Muay Thai, later more about that in other videos by the way, but still like waking up 6:30, running 10 km in the morning, training Muay Thai for 2 hours, going home, working on my business because business was still an ongoing thing and I needed to keep working on my business, right? Afternoon training, running 5 km, training for 2 hours. So did between like 2 to 5 hours training a day, including running and working on business. But I really wanted to do it because once again, I wanted to level my discipline to a higher pace. Then I eventually did the fight. And if I compare this first camp to the last camp I did, it was actually very great. There was not really any obstacles. The only obstacle was then that I ended up in the hospital and stuff, but besides that, everything was going well. I did my first Muay Thai fight on a pro level in the Rajadarnam Stadium. I won that fight, and after that fight, everything changed for me again. Why? Because if I look back at it, I was able to leave my comfort zone, to get out of my comfort zone. I was able to leave someone behind I actually really loved, so I sacrificed someone to make sure that I put myself on the first place. I got a lot of self-confidence again for training that hard in the camp and being able to keep managing my businesses and also doing the fight and actually winning the fight. So long story short, basically, it helped me in many, many ways. And this is one of the real life examples. If I would never made that decision to leave there out of Mexico, I could have still been there by now. And then I wouldn't specifically say I will be in a very bad situation now or like a bad lifestyle. I wouldn't specifically say that, but I'm 100% confident I wouldn't be on the same mindset level as I am now. I wouldn't have Business Belts community now. I wouldn't have these businesses keep running on such a high level now. That's 100% guarantee. And because I had the self-perspective already back then, I was able to talk to myself, zoom out, have helicopter vision on my own life and say like, okay, Thomas, what do you actually really want? Do you really want to stay here in Mexico with your nice girlfriend and just stay here for the coming years? And then what is going to be the next thing? Like, what is going to be the next challenge? There was no challenge. The purpose was gone, right? Because money was already incoming. Of course, you can keep earning more and more and more. That's also a challenge, but the real challenge sometimes should also be in terms of the life you live and in terms of challenging yourself in sports or like mindset related. And that's what I needed to do. So I made the decision, I did it, and I felt so confident. And still now I'm here in Thailand and I really love the place where I'm living, and I'm still training Muay Thai, and in terms of discipline and mindset, I'm on a way higher level than I was back then. So now also, if you look at it like, okay, if you're training Muay Thai on that high level, if you're training with all these guys and you're running a business, right? All the obstacles you're going to have during those trainings, when you have that during the day with your business, it's basically nothing. All because I made a decision. I decided to move from Mexico to Thailand. So I want to give once again you guys the insight that it is so important to have that self-perception or perspective and think like, okay, what do I really want in life? Are you like a young guy now? Do you have like a girlfriend now? Okay, all good. I'm not saying that having a girlfriend is a bad thing. Not at all. Don't get me wrong. But 9 out of 10 times when guys like you and me on a young age make money, fall in love with a girl, they stop reaching their potential unless that girl is also doing something to make sure you keep reaching your potential. And this is nothing bad towards her. I don't want to say that she was the one pulling me back from my goals. I was the one that did it myself because I decided to stay with her, decided to get in that comfort zone and being happy with her, if that makes sense. You know? So if you're also that guy now watching this and thinking like, okay, everything is nice, I'm making money, I'm with my girlfriend, I'm in a comfort zone, or you're in the zone that you have a girlfriend, everything is going well, you're not even making that much money, then I want to ask you, change your life. Really change your life, because it doesn't really make sense for you to keep doing what you're doing now. If you just keep living in that comfort zone, if you have those dreams, you're not going to achieve those dreams. If you don't want to sacrifice, you're not going to achieve those dreams, because once again, you need to be able to sacrifice and you need to be able to put yourself in the first place. If you're not doing that, you're basically losing in life. So this is how it is important that you can make quick decisions in life, how everything can change for you. I make a decision, quick decision, 24 hours later, I decided to fly to Thailand, and I'm still actually here in Thailand. I never left since then. Of course, I'll be traveling, but in terms of living, I never left since then. So making quick decisions, self-awareness, make sure that sometimes you zoom out on yourself and you really write down things for yourself. Where do I want to go? Am I acting towards those goals as of this moment? And if not, then you need to change something in life. That's what I wanted to share in this video, guys. Hope you guys liked it. See you at the next one. Cheers.